anyone's got any questions, you don't have to go.
It's been a while since I've had to do a video like. Okay, chat.
Oh, go away.
It's been a while.
Whatever they are. Yeah? Let's just get that clear.
About £500, Emma.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Where's the same energy for Luke Littler? How about that one?
But you
Hello,
were using that
Ghost.
comparison because somebody was commenting prior to her saying her age that she was underage, correct?
Yeah, so they were trolling me before that, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And then as soon as Ems is typed Daily 58 there, right? I've clicked on the week.
Oh, she didn't say her first Scottish, we can see that. Stop lying, otherwise I'll turn the comments off again.
Awesome gifts, guys. Literally. Bloody hell. Jesus Christ. Just get rid of all these haters. Honestly.
You did
No one knows the
Thank
person's
you,
age. Fucking hell, man. Jesus. No one's asked for the gifts chat. Oh my god. No one wants to know that as well, Gremlin. Get rid of Gremlin. Oh my god.
Can I ask you another question? Can you see how it looks from a viewer's perspective, though? Just seeing this, not knowing what you're doing on your screen,
Yes, correct.
etc. But from our perspective, your eyes are forward. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand because all they can see is my eyes on the live, which I'm.
Calling here is.
There you go, guys. That's part 2. Right, have I already done a poll to see your opinions, whether you believe Brett believed? So let's do a poll. Do you believe? I don't know if I've already done one because it was an hour ago. Do you believe? I've done one. Okay, so we don't need to do another one. All right, guys. Right, so we've got part 3. We've done it already. It's like
they can't see you.
anybody around the other.
Can't see the screen. They can't see any of that.
Thank you.
What did Gremlin say?
Thank you, Laura.
Sorry, keyboards. Any.
I've done it twice.
Oh
Gremlin said she just said she's 10, and then you told her to get rid.
my god.
No, she never said that. She said her card. Look,
She said that?
where does she?
She just said she was 10.
I didn't even see her that, obviously. I didn't
And
even.
you told her mods to get rid of you, Brett.
I've told the mods to get rid of these trolls, but I didn't see her say she was 10.
Oh,
Corey.
right.
I've only seen like some troll comments, but I'm not seeing where she said that, Corey, because I'm checking the weekly rankings.
Check the leaderboard, same
Yeah,
time.
'cause I'm checking the
Anyone
board.
could do that anytime. That's not that person's fault, still, chat. Literally, you know? It's just pathetic now. Bloody hell. I do need to check the oven. Exactly. I do need to check the oven. Remind me, Daniel, I was tidying.
I can't.
Look, either way, let's not play the phone.
I can't feel sorry for him, guys, because he still accepted the gifts.
On your own live, of course.
Yeah.
But
And he knew.
in terms of in here,
Thank
I reckon
you,
the only
Big
thing you've
Umbo.
literally done wrong is you should have been reading your chat.
Yes, correct. Yes, I 100% agree. I should have been
Always
looking
check
at
your
the
kids'
chat.
accounts. Thank you,
Yes.
Queen
Look,
Regina.
I hold my hands up. I should have been looking at my chat at all times.
Someone just said, with the diamonds in the name, I don't think he knew. He did know it was a potential child. He knew. Because he said, he referenced another child gifter. He knew.
At all times, you know. I take responsible. I made a mistake in terms
And
of.
also your mods as well. Your mods should have seen that comment and they should have run you. Because I'm telling you now, if something would happen in my
thank you
chat,
for the subs.
my other phone would have been ringing, going, "Boy, Corey, we got a problem there." So your mods,
Obviously,
your mods.
I turn my notifications off because trolls ring me.
I should do that.
People ring me, you know, like I get messages all the time. I turn all my notifications off. So my mods were actually very quick. They were messaging me already, but obviously I only see it when they're saying Brett in capital writings, check messages. So that took a long time. Does that make sense? Because obviously it's going already. Anyway, you guys can have your opinions on it. Anyway.
I think you've done wrong. You've admitted you've done wrong. You waved the white flag. You've also agreed during this live that the parents will contact you with.
Yes, I will give, if we can find the parents and we definitely know it's them and I haven't been set up by anybody on the app, I will give them.
I don't reckon their parents going to come to you. I reckon it's so. I think it is. But anyway, yeah.
But yeah.
He has admitted it.
I do think if he finds out it's a child, I do think he will give the money back. He's got no choice but to. I do think he will give the money back, but we don't know who's behind the account. I think the account's gone now.
And also putting your passport onto the app to gift like that. Because people can only gift like that if they put their passport on the app. Because it's already done for a recharge ban. The unusual activity means that she would have had to put
Corey. That's why you think it's a setup.
passport on the app.
And a proof of address.
And a proof of address and a proof of freaking identification. Not only that, this account has also been going around gifting many other creators on the app because she already came to
Right, guys.
Okay, so there's two possibilities, right? There's two potential things here. Okay, so the account's gone for two reasons. One, because it was a child and the parents have had charges to their bank accounts, right? Because I don't know any 10-year-old that's got hundreds and thousands of pounds in a bank account, all right? I do know children can have accounts because Tilly's got an account and I put £10 pocket money in her account. She's got her own little bank card, right? So there's two scenarios. It was a child. They've used the parents' cards to gift Brett, and then they've seen the expenses on the cards, and they've spoke to the kid. They've said right, and the account's gone. All right. The only other scenario is that it was a setup. The person has done the job, gone in, gifted, knowing that Brett isn't going to say no, whatever, and the account's been taken down. It's served the purpose. Brett's now looking terrible, and there we go. So, but you all believe it was a setup, which is probably, do you know what I mean? It's probably looking that way. But who? I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I'll leave that to you guys. You think it's a second scenario? Yeah, I know you all think it's a setup. You think it's to create drama. £500 a lot to create drama, though, isn't it?
I have level 40 gifting badge. I just leveled up to level 30 last night. What happens is when you try to make a purchase of a different card, so say I recharge on my Halifax card, right? But then I've had to recharge on, say, my NatWest card. What happens then is they classify as unusual activity. So what they ask you for is, they ask you for ID and proof of address, which that account must have provided.
Yes, this is what I'm trying to say, because it's already flagged for recharge suspicious activity.
Yeah, so I remember when that happened to me, and it was the year I did leaderboards, and I did the leaderboard, and I think I become number 3 on the leaderboard. And after I finished the leaderboard, I went over and gifted a few lions to people, and I needed to verify my account to send some gifts. Do you know what I mean? So it has happened to me where I've had to verify. I've had to put in my passport details to send big gifts. Do you get what I mean? So I can clarify 100% it has happened to me. There you go. So how is it a child's? This is what I'm saying. We don't know, do we? We don't know if it was a setup, if it was a child. I'm not here to say what it is. I don't know. I'm not sure. But at that time when this was happening, they believed in that room that it was a potential child. So people need to stop deflecting from the fact that it potentially at that time they believed it was, because it's it was a setup, Brett was set up. It doesn't matter. At that time, there was in the wrong for leaving the kid in there and the gifts going through. I don't know how many times I've got to say this. Do you know what I mean?
But this account had to, then that's your problem. It's not ours. But there are other people in the chat saying they have. And I have also. Thank you, Crystal.
This account has already gone round gifting multiple people on live as well, not just me, because she already came with a gifting badge.
If you have to do it, Tam, that's fine. But again, recharge off a different card. Recharge off a different card, I'm telling you, they'll say some unusual activity.
Anyway,
if you stick to the same card, the likelihood of you being ID'd is very, very unlikely. But when you try to move to a different card, like I moved from my NatWest to my Halifax card, then they banned me from gifting, so then I had to go in, provide a proof of address and an ID for them cards. And
every single person who has gifted me big has always had to do a ID check now since the last 16 months, maybe, give or take.
I had from PayPal to my bank. See, told you. Thank you.
Anyway, I let
Either way, right, you've admitted you're wrong. You've said, look, if I would have read the comments properly, I would have got rid. You obviously didn't, but you have openly admitted now that obviously both you and your mods were in the wrong for that situation, which you've openly admitted, didn't you? And you've also said that you would provide a full refund upon the proof of this kid you've evicted.
I will refund.
So, okay, so obviously, why did the child or whoever was behind the account say that they were 10 and a half? Was they asked their age in the chat? Because I haven't seen that. Why did they say they were 10 and a half? Was they asked their age? Who asked them their age? Was it a moderator? Was it a mod asked them? They were asked. A mod asked. Someone asked in the chat. Right. Just let me have a look. Because what's strange to me is why would somebody ask how old the person was gifting? Does that make sense? So this is why I wanted to know if it was somebody that was part of Team Brett. You know? So get in, Corey, and explain, darling. Corey, will you request the box, please, darling? Corey knows all about these things, you see, guys.
Hello, beautiful lady.
Hello, Mr. Wild.
Right, so I think it was.
Can you hear me, Corey?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, darling. I've turned the phone up now.
So I think it's the first clip that you must show, but I can't remember whether it was a mod off the top of my head, but somebody had added her, and somebody had said to her, or that account I should say, said, "How old are you, sweet?" or something like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, all they had to do was click on the account and see that it was potentially a child. My thought in my mind is it was a setup, but either way, as I said to him to his face on our live, either way, the girl identified herself as 10 years old, regardless of whether she was joking or not.
Yeah.
She should have been removed. And when you get to the end of the video, Brett has agreed. So I don't think there's any more you can pull out of it, really. But I went through it. Yeah, I feel quite sorry for him, I'm not going to lie. And that's quite difficult for me. Obviously, I know you don't. But I think it's kind of like a 50-50 on both ends, because if it was my kid spending 500 quid, I'd go absolutely bonkers. But then on the slant to that, it's a bit weird, right? It's a bit of a difficult one.
You know, usually, you know me, I would have sympathy, Corey, and it's not because I hate Brett or anything like that, because, you know, I want to be fair, whether I like somebody or not. It was the fact of... He at that time, when he was still, you know, letting the person in the room and the next gift going through, he did reference, you know, this Lewis gifter who was a child.
So I asked him that on the second clip you played, right? And what he said is there was prior comments to the girl commenting about her age, saying that person was a child. So quite clearly, his own comments have seen this person's profile and gone, Brett, this is a kid. But obviously, Brett's excuse for that, or should I say, Brett's reasoning for that then, instead of excuse, was that he gets trolled all the time. So whoever gets him big, everyone's always like, oh, they're 16 or they're 18.
Right.
So that's the reason why he made that. Now, when I stopped the live then and obviously showed him the comment of it being 10 years old, his reasoning for that was that he was checking the leaderboard. Now, obviously, with me and you, we check the leaderboards. Well, I don't know whether you do, but I do.
I do. You know, if I make it, I do check, but it's only up for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not up for long. Like say you're number 4 in the dailies now. As soon as you press the board, it'll scroll straight to the 4th of the dailies for you anyway. So it's not like you need to touch anything.
Yeah.
But again, who are we to tell to sit there and go, he didn't look at that board longer than we do? Do you know what I mean? So, but his chat was slow, and I stopped it and I said, "Look at your eyes, Brett. Your eyes are looking directly at the comment." But his reasoning for that was he was looking at something else.
Yeah, I believed he was aware of the chat. You know,
if you want my personal opinion, I think he was aware of the chat. I reckon he thought that he was being trolled. And I reckon he just kind of put that to the back of his mind and just kind of concentrated on work. I think about TikTok as a business also, but I certainly would have let somebody stay in the chat, even if they were joking about being 10. I block people for a lot less than that.
Yeah, exactly. You still have that duty of care as a creator live stream if you've got your gifts on and you believe there's a potential child in the room, to make sure that child is safeguarded and basically.
I did also pull it up to him though, mind. Obviously, but mine and your mods are very similar. We've got the same type of mods.
Yeah, routine.
But my chat is kept extremely clean anyway. I think his mods have got a lot to answer for as well. Because if me say I'm like your mod again now, and I've seen that, I would have got rid of it straight away.
Yeah.
But his mods didn't. And the only thing that like infuriated me was his mods kept on muting people that were bringing fact that account was a child.
Yeah.
They allowed it to go on further than they should have.
Yeah.
Which his mods should have gone, hold on, Brett, sorry, you're not going to like me for this, but I blocked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I would have laid on the sword for you, Donna, and said, look, Don, I have just blocked that one. I know it's just gifted you a lion, but I have just blocked it because I think it's a kid. Yeah. And then I'll deal with the repercussions afterwards.
Exactly that. That is what a decent moderator should be doing.
But Miss J was in there, mind. Miss J was in there, like in that live all the time. She showed me yesterday. And Miss J's perspective on it is he full well knew. Apparently all the chat full well knew and everyone was getting muted.
Jay was in Brett's chat.
Yeah. Jay was in Brett's chat when it was all happening yesterday. Yeah. But in all fairness, he did come in. He hasn't avoided the situation. He spoke on it. I think there's other creators, and you know whom, that were very angry that he was in my box and not in theirs. But obviously, it goes
all the exclusives.
I'm having all the exclusives, yeah. But I think he did come on. He did wave the white flag. He did apologise. He has also offered that if somebody was to turn up and obviously prove that their account is theirs, plus, that was a child gifting, he has agreed, including, the full amount of actual money, not the money that he made.
Yeah,
he has agreed to return it.
Which is the least that he could do, really. Yeah.
He's agreed to return it, so there's nothing more that any of us can do. He knows he was in the wrong. I think I said to him at the end of the video, which you're about to finish, I think I said you should really reconsider, some of your mods. And he also agreed to that. But personally, chat, if you want my opinion, I don't think anyone's going to message him. That account's going to come back in a couple of months' time, and it's going to regenerate as somebody else. It's just a burner account. I think it's a very expensive way of getting rid of someone. But
I've got to be honest. Thank you, Chloe. I do think Brett's going to recover from this. I think it's a massive learning curve. And it's a lesson learned. I don't think Brett's going to go anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, he's not going anywhere. At the end of the day, it's not. And this is what I didn't like about the app yesterday, was they were making him out to be some sort of pred, and that's not what it is. No. All he literally done was, granted, out of his own mouth, he should have concentrated more, and he didn't. But he's going to learn the error of his ways, and we've all made mistakes. But how are we 100% that it's not a child gifting us, right? You know how many gifts we both have.
Absolutely.
We don't know 100%.
You can't set every account for gifts. It's impossible, no.
And this is the difficult part, right? Because obviously I make a fair decent whack of cash a day on this app. The same as some other creators on the app as well. I don't click on every single person's profile and look at it and go, oh, that's a kid. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult.
I don't actually check people's profiles.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I think it was, and this is why I thought it was a setup, C-Red, because it was so blatantly obvious that it was a kid. It was made so obvious that it was a child.
Really?
And that's why I didn't like it. That's why I had to go, I think this is a setup. And I think it's a setup. And I know the people that financially gain off Brett, being the bad guy. So in terms of how the account looked, like there were so many videos of like a child, and then it was just like everything about the account just seemed dodgy.
What I want to know is who actually initially wrote the comment, "It's a kid."
You're going to have to go back to the first live.
How old are you? That's the comment that I want to see.
I think it was like a sub. I don't think it was a mod. I think it was like a sub. I think it was a sub because I asked him, I was like, why are you referencing the young man when he's got his own job and career? And then he was like, oh, well, I was referencing him because people were telling me that there was a kid beforehand. Yeah. But I think was it Deb or something, was it, the chat saying?
So, obviously, when somebody does come in and send big gifts, so obviously it was the curiosity, they've gone and checked the account, to say, oh, who's sending all these gifts? And
it was so blatantly obvious it was a child, Red. It was so dodgy. Like I could come off right now, right, and then change my name on you, level 35 gifting badge, upload videos of my nephew, and then I could jump in your chat right now and drop you a lion.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Like but the only dodgy thing about all of this, right, is the fact that the account disappeared within an hour of them gifting. So to me, that was set up for that. Now, don't forget, Brett was being gifted quite late in the night. So are you telling me now, right, that supposedly these parents woke up, had a massive go with the kid, I'm imagining, because £500 a lot of money. So that, and then they haven't gone and, reported it to TikTok or contacted Apple, depending on how they recharged. They just deleted the account. Come on, Reg, really?
Yeah, so, it is looking like it's...
And not only that, and how can a child deactivate an account? No offence, Reg, do you know how to deactivate?
Yeah, I've got to remember the password, which is...
But exactly. No 7-year-old or 10-year-old, sorry. No 10-year-old's going to go on there and go, all right, well, there we go then. I've just spent £500 of my mother's money. Now I'm going to deactivate my account so my mother doesn't know.
And this is no offence to Brett, but it wouldn't appear to me that Brett has content which would appear to the younger audience. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Do you get what I'm saying, guys? It's not like, Brett's... We know Brett. Do you get what I'm saying? He wouldn't have that appeal to it to the younger audience.
No.
So.
And not only that, with the recharging thing, which obviously you've covered already, you would have to provide ID and a proof of address in order for the recharge to be available again, which obviously takes like a day or two for them to verify. So it's definitely had an adult ID on there. And I think the reason why the account is gone is because we've all got contacts, like I've got contacts, like work for TikTok, because I'm in the TikTok agency. Like people can check, who made them accounts, and that's why I think it's gone.
Okay, darling. Right, should we get people in the boxes so they can have their opinions on this?
Oh, where's Simon today?
You leave Simon alone.
I sent you all the I love yous earlier, but can you tell Simon they were meant for him and not for you?
No, I will not.
So when you cash out later, will you spend them all on Simon?
No.
Please.
Simon, ignore Corey.
Simon, I need to booyaka roots.
Out, Corey. Guys, if you wanna join the boxes, guys, to have your say on this situation, do you feel sorry for Brett? Do you believe he's been set up? Do you think Brett is always trying it with Simon? Do you think that Brett should have, blocked the account? Do you think the mods would that have? What do you think, guys? This is your time to get in the box and have your say on the situation. But I just want to say, I don't believe that Brett is in any way a predator. I don't think that. I just believe it was money over morals. So if you think he was innocent, please get in the box and have your say. But my box power's broke. What do you mean, MT? You got all your powers, darling? Right, there you go. Mods, you can accept people in the boxes now. So if you think he's innocent, get in the box. If you think he's out of order, get in the box.
Good morning, Miss Red. You're looking absolutely beautiful as always.
Oh, thank you, darling.
As a mum of 5 myself, I can honestly say none of my kids when they were 10-year-old had a bank account with even £1 in, let alone £500. Now, I'm a bit dubious about this. Personally, yes, I do think he was set up, and in my head it's either M's or EQ, because I think both of them manipulate enough for it to be either or. But I also totally agree with what you're saying. He should have shut it down straight away as soon as the first person said, that's a child. There was enough people in that room for someone to say, we think this is a child, this needs to be sorted, blah, blah, blah. But I also think that it's a reminder for every other live creator that, this could happen to them too.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a huge learning curve for everybody. And I think Brett was targeted because he's like he just come across as the most lame, boring one on the app, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? So I do think he was used for that reason. And who is Alice? Has anybody ever seen this Alice? So I think there's a big, huge can of worms that is now being opened up, and, we just got to wait and see, haven't we? So, yeah, I don't think he's totally honest, but I don't think he's a predator. I really don't.
Absolutely not. Thank you, Sharon. Definitely.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Have a nice day, everybody.
Sharon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, darling. Hi, Kylie.
Hiya.
Hello.
Yeah.
I think it's been a setup. Because just going on, sorry, one second. Just going on the fact that I've got a 13-year-old who, in her face, looks under 13. You would look at her and go, maybe she's 10, maybe 9, maybe a bit older, but not old enough. She's got a TikTok account because she can be on the app, the age thing. And the amount of times I have had to go through and prove her age, verify her age with photos of me and her birth certificate and her passport and this and that and the other, because they constantly say she looks underage. If they said that there's loads of videos of children on there, that would have been flagged up by TikTok and shut down, unless it had all been created, uploaded and done within a few hours, maybe a day or two.
Yeah.
So I think it's been created on purpose to do this gift, but I also think it's so that this scandal can happen, because like the last lady said, Brett is a bit boring. He doesn't bring no content to the app, and he wanted a bit of scandal to get some drama, really, and get his name out there.
What, you believe Brett has set this up?
Yeah.
See, I can't see that, Kylie. Let me tell you why. Because when children and TikTok's involved, people, it's one of the worst. I can't see it, darling, because it's because children, and gifting and things like that. I don't think Brett would have wanted this on his name. I don't believe Brett had any. What is going on with the boxes? Where did Kylie go? Do you believe that Brett is involved in this, guys? Absolutely not. Brett ain't cut out for it.
There's Kylie back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. It looked like I just got booted.
Right, okay.
Sorry, just a quick. We're not booting people. The boxes are going scatty. We can't accept people in the boxes. It says request parameters error. And then when we put people in, they keep on going. So you're not being kicked. It's not us. It's the actual boxes itself.
Will you take a screenshot, Empty, the next time it happens?
Of course I will.
Thank you, darling.
Go ahead. See you in a bit.
Thank you, love. Thank you. Go on, Kylie.
I just think that it's been planned for drama. Maybe not by Brett, but by somebody. It's been maybe somebody wanting to take him down. Maybe somebody who thinks, he said to somebody, I need a bit of drama, and they've gone, well, this will work. Do you know, just a bit of scandal, something like that. I don't know. But I do think it's all a setup, and I don't think that Brett is the type of person that he's going to go out and purposely take money from kids. I think he's just got himself caught up in a bit of a difficult situation.
So what do you feel, Kylie, about the fact that he was actually aware that it potentially could have been a child?
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. As soon as the second that there was a mention that was possibly a child, he should have absolutely shut it down. I think he's wrong for that, and I think his mods are wrong for that. Absolutely. I'm a mod in a couple of groups, and I've seen it before that there's been children in there, and I'm like, look, sorry, you're not old enough to be in the app. This isn't to be nasty, but this is to safeguard you and everyone in the room. I'm gonna have to block you.
Yeah. Can I just pick up on that, please?
Yeah, of course you can.
So I've got a page, and it's all for predator awareness. And that's my point. I think people are missing the point that anyone that sees a child that says that they're that age in a live should be going to that profile and reporting that profile. Their main concern should be for the safeguarding of that child.
Yeah, I agree. And this is my whole problem with the situation. Yeah, I agree.
We know there's a lot of money over morals on this, but if you see a child, even if you can't prove that that's a child, if you suspect that is a child in any way, shape or form, you should be going to that profile and reporting that profile. That child should be removed from that live. Yeah. Regardless, it's just what they don't realise as well is a child being on a live like that. It's not the fact that she was spending the money she was spending. She is also in a position to be for other wrong'uns to access them, to message them, to exploit them.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say that if anyone is in a live, or if you're scrolling through the FYP and you see posts and they're posts of children that are clearly too young to be on the app, report that post, because we can never be too careful. And I also want to pick up on, I don't know whether anyone else has seen the post today that the evil one has put out, the AI posts.
I don't really want to speak about early awareness. Sorry, darling.
Right. Well, I just want to pinpoint AI. That was my the main point I wanted to put across. People need to realise that when they are putting their children, photographs of their children out, the posts that I've seen today are so real. So there's a post of Brett sat next on a sofa, sat next to what is made out to be this 10-year-old child, and she's got money in her hand, and it looks so real. And this is what they can do with AI now. And so all they need is a photograph of your child's face, and that could be put on videos of the worst thing that you could ever imagine. So people need to be aware that we really, really need to start protecting our children better. You know, we need to do better by the children.
I think creators also, need to learn better as well, and
100%, 100%. You know, I've put a post out earlier on one laughing about it, saying, that these profiles, it's not a 10-year-old child. If they want to send me balloons, they can send me balloons. It's not funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Elite Awareness.
You are very welcome, darling, and thank you for having me up.
Absolutely, thank you.
Take care, lovely.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
Kylie, thank you for joining, darling. Right, who's next? Hello, who wants to go next?
Hi, Miss Reid. Good morning.
Hello, Bonnie. Good morning.
Just a couple of things that I did pick up on. Now, one, he says he's looking at the rankings, right? But normally when anybody else looks at the rankings, you can normally see their body move, but you don't see any of that. So, and then he also said in a comment to someone, no one is even meant to know that. Know what? Do you know what I'm saying? It's a wee bit, I don't know, it's a wee bit suspicious.
Did he have a second device in his hand?
Well, if he did, it didn't look as if he was even looking at it, because it looked as if he was just looking at the device that he was on. So that's why I'm a bit confused about that.
That me too, because I didn't see a second device. And like I say, usually, like if I'm checking rankings now, you're seeing movement, right? Mm-hmm. You see, I can't.
This is what I'm saying. There was no movement. See, even if you move your hand, like another part of your body will move with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't add up. And I'll tell you, I don't go live. I don't do boxes or anything like that. But see, if I did, and someone said to me, even as a joke in my comments, I'm only 10 or I'm only 16, I would be like, well, I'm sorry. I would have just shut my mouth if I was you, because now you're away.
Exactly that. Even when people have joined the boxes and they don't sound of age, they're booted straight away. Because, like I say, we all have a duty of care as adults on TikTok to make sure that children are safeguarded. No matter who you are, how big you are, we all have that duty of care.
I don't know any child that has £500, and I'll tell you, see, if it has definitely been a child and they've been on their mother's account, well, it's their mother's own fault for giving them that access to a device that's got access to bank details.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But if I was him, I would still try and find out who it was. I would still want to speak to the mother, but I think he should just have blocked it. Even if it was just a kid on comment, just a troll comment, you would still just block that. Even saying that, it's a bad look when you don't.
It's certainly a lesson learned. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's either a lesson or a blessing. It's certainly not a blessing to him. Maybe in his pocket, but definitely not in the app. But anyway, the Old Firm game's on, Celtic and Rangers, so I'm away to watch it. Thank you for letting me in your box.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for joining.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi, Paula.
Miss Red, I've just got a question for you.
Go on, darling.
I've noticed that you've given your hair a revive. Is that after seeing how much better Evil Queen looked in the wig?
Hello, Maggie. Can you just say that again?
Yes, I've noticed that you've dyed your hair again. Is that because Evil Queen?
Out. Right, who's next? Bye, darling. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Hello, Paula.
Michelle, sorry, but I don't know who that was, but it was out of order anyway. And yes, we've just proved that you're the queen of TikTok. All I have to say to that. Now, I have a couple of things to say. I've seen it on this app many a time, and I always watch the hunting teams, and we've had a few problems. So with our old agency, I'm not going to mention any names, but we have went to one of the hunting teams in the past, and I went to the hunting teams and said,
"Look, darling, can we keep it to the situation that's going on?"
And I'm coming here, right? So I've said to them, look, such and such is in a box. The kids in these boxes, right? That is out of order. Now, we've went live a few times ourselves, and we've had people in the boxes, and they've come in and they're a child. Bang, straight away, out, blocked. That's it. I don't care if it was a setup or not. People was telling Brett that was a child. He should have blocked that child straight away, no matter if it was a setup or it wasn't a setup.
I agree, Paula. I agree, 100%.
I am not in no means saying that Brett is this, that, and the other, but there is a lot of wrong people on this app. And protect the kids. Just if you think there's a kid in your chat or comes into the box, get them out and block them straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. And every creator, live streamer, every person that follows.
I mean, even if I'm live myself or I'm a mob for somebody, I would actually go through the views and I would check a lot of profiles out, and I would come in and say, right, I blocked that person because it's a child. I believe it's a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, Paula. Thank you for joining, my darling.
Thank
you
you,
absolutely banged on the money. Thank you, love. Bye. Hi, Donna.
Good morning, Miss Red. Morning, everybody. In my opinion, it was definitely a setup.
Okay.
The reason I think it was a setup, and it doesn't necessarily have had to have been Brett, it was anybody who was significantly gifted by Alice to discredit that person so Alice wouldn't gift them anymore. I think that was the reason behind it, not because it was Brett. I think if you'd have been heavily gifted by Alice, the same would have happened to you. I think it's about who was gifting Brett historically for the purpose of discrediting that person to stop Alice gifting.
Well, again, that's your opinion. You're entitled to speculate that. A lot of people are agreeing with you. But unfortunately, Brett fell for the bait, so.
I agree. Brett fell for it. And yes, Brett should have noticed. And yes, his mods should have got in touch with him a lot quicker than they did. But I do think that's the reason why it happened. And unfortunately, Brett fell for it.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, my darling. Thank you, Donna.
Yes, bye-bye.
Donna, you had a lot of people agreeing with you there in the comments. Like I say, I'm not going to sit here and say who I think it was because I ain't got a clue. But whatever you guys think is how you're thinking. Hi, Emma.
Morning, Miss Red.
Morning, darling.
I definitely do think it was set up, but I think to reference it to Luke Littler, who is 17, probably turning 18, and a very, very professional darts player with all his own money, and I'm sure he wouldn't be gifting people if he couldn't. The mind of a 10-year-old to the mind of a 17 to 18-year-old is very, very, very different. So there's no way, I don't think he should have been accepting any sort of gifts from any 10-year-old. And I'm sure I heard him say that she came in a level 24. Well, the minute she would have sent him quite a big gift, she would have definitely leveled up. So I really don't think she would have come in on a level 24 gift.
Right, okay. Does anybody know what?
She did. It's on the screen recording. She came in on level 24.
Oh, okay. There you go, Emma. She was already on a 24. Did the gifting badge go up? Hello, Pearl.
Yeah, it went up in the third screen recording.
Oh, did it?
Well, I just think to reference Luke Little was an excuse to get out of it, maybe, because to go for somebody that's quite in the limelight with a lot of money, and I just think the minds are totally different.
I think that the reason Luke was referenced is because obviously, Mods, can you get onto the comments, please?
The chat was saying prior that it was a child. That's why he was referencing that Luke kid.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Lewis was referenced, because...
Exactly, and that's all I've come up to say just for 2 minutes. Everybody's giving Brett a free pass here. Let's get it real. Whether everybody's saying what they were saying, that was still a child's profile. You clicked onto it, was photos of a child. He knew what gifting badge she was, and he took that money. Honestly, what an absolute piece of work. And if that was anybody else on this app, you'd be ripped in you. And so I'm just going to say it like it is. Never mind about all this setups. Brett didn't know this. Brett knew right from the start. He sat there looking at the comments. He knew what he was doing, and it didn't matter how old he was, as long as he was getting that money. And I'm sorry, that's my
Can
opinion.
I say though, Pearl, in Brett's defence, you can only see a profile picture, so it's not like you can click on the profile when you want to
He was
like.
sat there for 15 minutes looking at that, and don't tell me he never clicked onto her profile. And
You can't when you're on live.
well, whichever way, it was still a child. He was told. People in the comments were asking her how old she was. She said 10, then she even put 10.5. Corey, behave. If this was you, if it was Donna, if it was anybody else, they'd be ripped in you. And listen, he's done it. He's took that money, and he's still come up with an excuse if the people proves it's herself. Listen, he was all about the money, and it didn't care if it was a 2-year-old or a 40-year-old. That's my opinion on it. He's wrong. And if it was anybody else, well, the app would be in an uproar. That's all that I'm saying. Anyway, Babbies, thank you for letting me up. I'm going to jump down and listen, and have a lovely day.
You too, my pearl.
Bye, me Babbies.
Bye, darling.
And before I jumped down, I definitely don't think he had a second device, because you'd have seen him looking downwards and not upwards.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I asked, because I didn't see him looking down.
Yeah, you can't see him looking down. You can't see his finger touching the screen. You can just see him looking directly at the screen. So I don't know what he was looking at, but
yeah, someone
Thank
just
you
said
anyway,
yes
Miss Red.
to do that. Thank you, Emma, my darling, for joining. Thank you very much. Well, Corey, darling, it's just me and you.
Well, I know, but I've only come back to ask, is Simon busy today, or...?
Corey,
Yeah.
stop trying to flirt and get it on the side.
Right, but I booked a dinner. I'll just take him out for an hour or two. I'll blow his fucking socks off, darling.
Simon, are you there? Corey wants to take you out on a date. He said, yeah, right. Out, Corey! Out! Guys, do you... Honestly, it's terrible. Do you... Corey, Simon's taken me out for dinner at after... Oh, he's back.
Is he there? Simon, can you hear me?
Simon, can you hear him? Yeah.
Hello, handsome man. Are you busy today? I booked us in for a table.
Yes, I'm taking the wife off.
Huh?
He said he's taking the wife out.
Oh, what a waste of time.
No, it's not a waste of time, Corey. Well,
Simon, you don't need to buy me a Chinese. I'll give out any time you want, darling.
out.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry about that, Simon. At this rate, you're going to be getting... What is it on him? What do you get when someone's stalking and harassing you? Because he just doesn't leave you alone, does he? He doesn't. Oh, hello, an injunction, that's it. The husband would be filing for an injunction, restraining order of some hardcore wild. Right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. I'd like to get more people in the boxes, but we are going out for dinner. We've got to be out for 12:15. We opened the boxes again. Yes, I loved it. Thank you, Zia, darling. That is Alice Airways again. Thank you, Zia, my love. Thank you. We've done amazing today, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And I've had a lovely day. I hope you've had a lovely day too. Boxes are open again. Also, as well, I just want to say, for these cheeky people that sat on live sending people over to join the boxes, there is somebody sat in the live and seeing who's coming over from your way. So I just want to say everybody's on it. Right, guys, I love you all. Have a lovely Sunday, and we'll see what we wake up to tomorrow, what drama we've got tomorrow. Absolutely.